Those of you who watched the debate earlier tonight here on ABC and forgot to turn the television off, thank you for joining us. You know, tonight we watched the third Democratic debate, this time from Houston, Texas. It was exciting. You know, watching the candidates tackle these issues is as close as we get to having football on ABC anymore. And it reminds me of the old days. The Democrats whittled it down to 10 candidates tonight, all of whom tried to stand out and avoid being eliminated under extreme time pressure in a televised event that it was in no way at all like a game show. This is democracy. It's very serious. Now let's put 45 seconds on the clock and go. And this was a large cast of characters. So to help viewers keep track of who was who, ABC News did something creative to start the program.
Oh, the election is quickly approaching, and we've got decisions to make. With so many people to choose from, we don't want to make a mistake. We can only send one to the White House, and the others will have to go home. Damns the brakes. Yeah, damns the brakes. Whoever goes home will say, damns the brakes.
It is weird that they put 10 candidates on the stage. I'd put the 4 front runners at the center of the stage. I'd make the other 6 dangle off the edge by their fingertips throughout the thing. Mayor Pete Buttigieg was up way past his bedtime tonight. I don't know if you heard, he ran into some trouble this afternoon. He almost didn't make it to the debate. You can see he got stuck in the claw machine at the Dave & Buster's at the Baybrook Mall, but his mother was able to fish him out. The moderators tonight were George Stephanopoulos, David Muir, and Lindsay Davis from ABC, with Jorge Ramos from Univision. They hit the candidates with all the tough questions, like, if elected, how do we know you won't lie about everything all the time and draw on weather maps with a Sharpie? And they answered those questions well. You could even, you could bet on the events of the debate. These are what they call prop bets. They're from a betting website. You could bet, will Joe Biden have a gaffe that trends on Twitter? That was plus 200, which means you'd bet $100, you get 200 if it was yes, and you'd bet 300 when 100 for no. The answer was no. How many times will Joe Biden mention Obama? Over or under 1.5 times. That went over. It was 2. Times Donald Trump will tweet during the debate. Well, over 5.5 or under. It was under, believe it or not. He was busy. Will Beto O'Rourke speak Spanish during the debate? He did. Will Joe Biden choke on his teeth during the debate? Yeah, he actually did. Joe Biden did. He did well tonight. He was facing the right direction. His pants were on. It was a good outing for him. You know, there were 3 women on stage, and of course, if any of these women are elected, it would be historic. And if Bernie or Biden were to win, it would be prehistoric. But Bernie was. Because they're so old, is what I'm saying. Their age. Bernie was very Bernie tonight. He came right out of the gate yelling. His voice was crazy. It sounded like he swallowed a frog. He was screaming louder than Cam Newton at the line of scrimmage. It was like, Bernie made a strong argument tonight for giving every American access to affordable throat lozenges. You know, a lot of people think Bernie's too old to be president, and he didn't do much to make people feel better about that tonight.
In the United States of America, we are spending twice as much per capita on health care as the Canadians or any other major country on Earth.
He had his turn signal on for an hour and a half. That was embarrassing. I felt bad for him. This was the first debate where Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren were on stage together. You know, they've been described as frenemies. It's a weird situation because Elizabeth Warren is the candidate most Democrats say they'd like to vote for, but the majority of Democrats think Joe Biden is the guy the country would vote for. But I don't know. I don't think it's a great idea to try to guess what other people want. That's how you wind up eating at Golden Corral. I thought you wanted to come here, huh? Most of what has the Democrats worried is after Hillary, will another female candidate be able to beat Donald Trump? Is it too risky? I actually think a woman has a better chance against Trump, especially in a debate. Women are much better at handling babies than men. It's just a biological fact. Some of the outliers made waves tonight, most notably the businessman Andrew Yang, who is an interesting guy. Yesterday, his campaign manager said he'd be doing something no presidential candidate has ever done before, which is an exciting thing to hear because it could be so many things. Maybe he was planning to eat a Tide Pod on camera or ride in on an ostrich. Who knows? But Andrew Yang did none of those things. Instead, he gave away cash.
I'm going to do something unprecedented tonight. My campaign will now give a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for an entire year to 10 American families, someone watching this at home right now. If you believe that you can solve your own problems better than any politician, go to yang2020.com and tell us how $1,000 a month will help you do just that.
Like a radio station contest. It's $1,000 Thursday. That might be the most ridiculous proposal I've ever seen on this network, and I've watched every episode of The Bachelorette. That wasn't the only trick Yang had up his sleeve. He also had some fun when he took the stage tonight.
Entrepreneur Andrew Yang.
I'd like to see Joe Biden do that. Some of the candidates went after Joe Biden like he was some kind of deadbeat dad on the Maury Povich show. Julian Castro, in particular, it was almost elder abuse. There was one moment when Castro lashed out at Biden for forgetting something, which he didn't forget, by the way, and Bernie appeared to lean over and help Joe out. It was kind of endearing. It made me hopeful for a reboot of Grumpy Old Men. Beto O'Rourke had a strong night. Probably not strong enough, but he was... Beto, to me, looks like the high school history teacher you know has weed in his desk. He took a big swing to try to win the African-American vote. He called Donald Trump a white supremacist. He announced a plan to introduce a reparations bill, and he promised a new Medea movie by the end of the year. So Cory Booker was the only unmarried candidate in the debate tonight, and that would be interesting. A single president would be something. See him on Tinder. Can't swipe right on a Democrat. You have to swipe left on him, right? Although he is in a serious relationship. He's dating Rosario Dawson, the actress. But even though they lived together a lot of the time, until 3 days ago, she hadn't officially endorsed him, which is, I mean, how many dishes must this guy leave in the sink? Overall, though, I thought it was a good debate. I thought ABC News did a great job. I don't know who won the debate, but watching candidates discuss the issues intelligently using real facts, I'd forgotten what it was like. It was like walking out of North Korea and into a Costco. It was that same... President Trump told reporters he would not watch the debate live tonight. He said he was going to tape it and watch it later as a rerun. This is what he was doing during the debate.
The light bulb. People said, "What's with the light bulb?" I said, "Here's the story." And I looked at it. The bulb that we're being forced to use, number one, to me, most importantly, the light's no good. I always look orange.
Yeah, it's a light bulb that makes you look orange. Nothing to do with the tan in a can. Trump also entertained the gang at the Institute with a routine about sleepy Joe Biden and Chinese President Xi, which was so good, we had no choice but to slow it down for tonight's edition of Drunk Donald Trump.
He wants Sleepy Joe. Can you imagine those two guys in a room? Is she home? And here's Sleepy Joe. What? Where am I? Where am I? Just sign here, Sleepy Joe. Just sign here.
So, in between his stand-up gigs, the president is still figuring out who's going to replace his national security advisor. There are reports today that Trump was thinking of giving the job to his Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, who would then have 2 jobs to be fired from in 3 months, which would be unusual but not unprecedented. There was one other Secretary of State who also acted as national security advisor, Henry Kissinger, which would make sense for Trump because nobody Kissingers his ass like Mike Pompeo. Kissinger served under Richard Nixon, And, of course, everything worked out great for him. So Trump thought about this, but that option doesn't seem likely now. This afternoon, Trump made it clear that he has many options to fill this most recent hole.
A lot of people want the job, and it's a great job. It's great because it's a lot of fun to work with Donald Trump, and it's very easy, actually, to work with him. You know why it's easy? Because I make all the decisions and I have to work.
Sounds like a terrific working environment. He makes all the decisions, whether they be original recipe or extra crispy, the decisions. You know, of all the horrible things he's been trying to do, there's one subject on which the president has been crystal clear, and that is this.
I'm an environmentalist. I want crystal clean water. I want crystal clean water. We're going to have crystal clean water. Clean, beautiful crystal water. Clean, crystal clean water. We want clean water, Crystal. Clean, beautiful crystal water. Nice, beautiful, clean water.
So what did they announce today? They're rolling back Obama's Clean Water Act, which limits the amount of chemicals businesses can put in our water. How does it work? Did he just wake up and go, well, what horrible thing can we do today? I know, let's poison the water. Trump has now rolled back protection of the water, air, endangered species, and public land. All he cares about is rolling back whatever Obama did. I'm surprised he hasn't ordered Sasha and Malia back into the womb. Right, Guillermo?
Right, that's right, Jimmy.
I mentioned last night that since the debate was live on ABC, which is a network on in prime time, the candidates were warned by ABC News and the DNC not to use foul language, because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that voters will not tolerate a president who uses foul language. But with that said, it's time now for a special debate edition of This Week in Unnecessary Censorship.
Last year, Democrats 40 Republican in the House.
I've met people who their doctors. I've met people who their nurses. I've met people who their pharmacists. Met people who their physical therapists.
We've got to talk about the working class issues, the people that take a after work who haven't had a raise in 30 years.
This is about candor, honesty, big. Let's have a big.
In one of my first debates, Jake, I was called a from the Iron Range by my opponent. And when she said it, I said, you.
That's what I want to do for you as President of the United States. You.
I know how to and I know how to win. I on giant and I beat them.
Now, I am Asian, so I a lot of
And if you want to compare, and frankly, I'm shocked that you do, I am happy to do that.
Hi, I'm Jimmy Kimmel, and I am not allowed to eat this cookie until you click the subscribe button, so please click now. I'm hungry.